Universal Soldier, 1992, wasn't just muscles and explosions. Behind its $23 million budget came real Hoover Dam heat, fake street fights at Cannes, and an army of corpses reanimated for profit. Here are 20 weird facts you didn't know, and the last one will shock you. 20. Andrew Davis bailed, clashed hard before the fugitive saved him elsewhere. The Universal Soldier project first fell to Andrew Davis, fresh off The Fugitive. He worked on early rewrites alongside Richard Rothstein, shaping a version rooted in military thriller roots. But Davis exited amid creative clashes just before filming began. He went on to direct Under Siege, 1992, and The Fugitive, 1993, while Universal Soldier passed to Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin. Davis's departure reshaped the film's tone entirely, from tense strategy to over-the-top sci-fi action. That sudden switch remains one of the wildest flips behind the scenes of this wrapped-in rage production. 19. Roland Emmerich started here, then blew up Earth in Independence Day. Universal Soldier marked the feature debut of Roland Emmerich, then a relative unknown in Hollywood. He and co-writer Dean Devlin retooled the script into a muscle-fueled sci-fi thriller. The movie's success launched both of them. The next year, Emmerich created Stargate, 1994, and then, famously, Independence Day, 1996, destroying iconic landmarks in blockbuster style. That origin story is almost surreal, from resurrected soldiers at Hoover Dam to aliens flattening the White House. Fans today still trace Emmerich's appetite for spectacle straight back to this grimy, sweaty launchpad. 18. Carolco staked $23 million. Failure would bury them 6 feet under debt. Carolco Pictures was a studio known for its big bets, funding Total Recall, Terminator 2, and yes, this film with a massive $23 million budget in 1992. At the time, that was a major gamble for a high-concept action sci-fi hybrid without franchise backing. Industry insiders said every dollar hinged on box office performance. A flop could have toppled Carolco entirely. The company teetered under debt in the years after, eventually filing for bankruptcy in 1995. So yes, Universal Soldier was a literal last throw of the dice. And when it succeeded, it briefly saved them from total collapse. 17. Carolco threw their last chips on it. Bankruptcy followed soon after. Despite grossing $120 million worldwide, the film only briefly rescued Carolco from financial ruin. Their desperation shows up in locations. They shot at real places like Arizona, Grand Canyon, and Hoover Dam, instead of building expensive sets. After Universal Soldier wrapped, Carolco attempted more blockbusters: Cutthroat Island, Showgirls, and Lost again. By 1995, they were bankrupt. Looking back, this film wasn't just a sci-fi action movie, it was their swan song. It stands as a reminder: Hollywood funding can run on muscle and ambition until it doesn't. 16. Hoover Dam set cooked cast alive. Real heat, real risk, real sweat. One of the film's most memorable scenes was shot on location at the real Hoover Dam in the Nevada desert. Unlike most films that use controlled sets, the crew filmed under the blazing summer sun. Cast and extras endured actual heat. No cooling rigs, just bleached concrete and relentless intensity. Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren pushed through dehydration and the glare bouncing off the dam's walls. That physical struggle added unscripted authenticity to their sweat-drenched performances. It's one of the rare times movie magic made the cast sweat. Not CGI, not stunt doubles, but pure, unfiltered desert performance. 15. At Cannes, Lundgren and Van Damme staged a fake street brawl. At the 1992 Cannes Film Festival, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren sparred, on camera and off. What looked like a heated brawl was actually a carefully crafted publicity stunt to hype the film Turn Zero Search Zero. Eyewitnesses recall the intensity feeling real until they realized it was all for show. Polanski-level guerrilla promotion, action movie style. The pandemonium got headlines, boosted buzz, and perfectly launched the film's marketing. Cool, chaotic, and totally unscripted for audiences. 14. Cinema digital sound died right here, too broken to live on. Universal Soldier was the last major movie to use the cinema digital sound format. Every theater after that move upgraded to DTS or Dolby. This dying tech made the tank shots and machine gun roars rumble in a rare, brittle glory. It's an obsolete audio fossil now, but back then it meant your chair shook like you were in the middle of Hoover Dam's explosions. If you ever hear a warped echo in the rewatch, that's cinema digital sound holding onto the tailgate of history. 13. It made $120 million worldwide. Violence sold better than romance that year. The film racked up roughly $120 million at the global box office against a $23 million budget. That's roughly a 5x return, and despite mixed reviews, audiences couldn't resist the twin muscle horror of Van Damme and Lundgren blasting through Hoover Dam's gates. Romance flicks back, then didn't earn that kind of bank. This movie taught studios one lesson: blood is bankable. Even critics who called it Terminator 2 light still admitted that the money proved them wrong. 12. This was the first bloody marriage of Lundgren and Van Damme. Before Universal Soldier, fans fantasized about Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren teaming up or facing off. This film made that dream in living color. On screen, they collide in brutal fisticuffs. Off-screen, they staged fights, did promos, and cemented their names together in the 1990s action lore. Their dynamic still echoes in The Expendables 2 and Minions, The Rise of Gru. The movie didn't just launch a franchise, it created one of the most iconic duos in action history. 11. The video game tie-in was a hacked Turrican 2 in ugly drag. The Universal Soldier video game wasn't custom-built. It was a reskinned version of Turrican 2, The Final Fight, Turn 0, Search 5. Accolade swapped the sprites and levels into jungle and motel scenes, then slapped on the movie branding. Players wandered familiar maps disguised as Unisol Chaos. Critics panned it, a charming homage to the original game, but more like a rough Halloween costume than a standalone adventure. 10. The first draft, Crystal Knights, was medieval knights in body bags. The original vision for the project was vastly different, titled Crystal Knights. It centered on medieval warriors trapped inside glowing crystal sarcophagi, more fantasy than sci-fi. That script existed long before Van Damme and Lundgren entered the scene. Carolco shelved it in favor of the Resurrection Soldier angle, but knowing the film began as a dark fairy tale of knights preserved in glass frames adds a bizarre twist, almost as if Game of Thrones met the Terminator. Thankfully, history rerouted it to steel and sweat, not sorcery. 9. Unisouls weren't heroes. They were corpses stitched into Frankenstein's soldiers. Luke Devereaux and Andrew Scott aren't cyborgs. They are dead Vietnam soldiers reanimated via technology. Their flesh isn't synthetic. It's stitched, grafted, and wired. Military-produced corpses, revived with memories erased. They're less futuristic heroes and more modern-day Frankensteins, marching under orders. Writer Richard Rothstein said the push was to make them disturbingly human-looking, not robots. This grounded horror, dead flesh pretending to live, makes the film creepier than laser guns or space battles. Imagine that. Your enemy isn't soulless metal, but flesh you once knew. 8. GR44 wasn't a name. It was a ghost code for dead flesh. Luke Devereaux's designation, GR44, isn't a cool badge. It's a disturbingly clinical code marking him as reanimated military property. GR stands for genetic reanimate, meaning those beings aren't people. They're ghostly numbered test subjects. The film never apologizes for calling him by code instead of name. That's the horror. Listen to the way drills bark it out in the command center. and you're hearing flesh reduced to data. It's something that haunts your brain long after the bullets stop flying. 7. Van Damme's GR-44 sweats blood, memories, and humanity clawing back. Jean-Claude Van Damme isn't just punching through walls, he's battling his own mind. GR-44's body retained memories. Painful flashes from Vietnam seep through, shown in sweat, emotion, and fragmented internal monologue. He doesn't just fight external enemies, but the horror of rediscovery, grief, guilt, war trauma. Van Damme once said he wanted that struggle visible. Under the sweat, you see a soldier remembering who he used to be. That's what makes GR-44 powerful. He's not a killing machine. He's a man clawing back from death. 6. Hidden DVD ending says his parents were imposter meat puppets. Most know only the theatrical cut, but the special edition DVD includes a hidden alternate ending where Devereaux returns home, only to discover his parents are Unisol doppelgangers, meat puppets replacing his real family. It's a twisted reveal that turns the concept of homecoming into horror. The place you trust is stolen. Downloaded disc collectors call it the nightmare ending. Polanski-level intensity hidden in DVD menus, reserved for the bold. The idea that your loved ones can be swapped with imposters gives that return scene a sinister edge, even if it never hit theaters. 5. An alternate ending twisted his family into a sick joke. In the special edition DVD, there's a hidden alternate ending that's more twisted than the theatrical cut. Instead of a happy reunion, Devereaux returns home only to find imposters posing as his family, part of a cruel military mind game. It's a horrifying moment. Your home, your love, replaced with fakes. The betrayal isn't sci-fi, it's personal. Polanski-level disorientation, but inside a muscle-packed action movie. This cut was shelved for its cruelty, but fans call it the real nightmare ending. Imagine discovering your safe world is the darkest trick of all. 4. Straight-to-video sequels milked the corpse until it smelled like rot. The franchise didn't stop at theaters. Cushioned by VHS sales, it birthed a string of direct-to-video follow-ups. Brothers in Arms and Unfinished Business in 1998, Regeneration, 2009, Day of Reckoning, 2012, and more. Each sequel ratcheted up the weird, from amplified body horror to surreal revenge fantasies. Fans joked the series milked the rotting corpse of its original concept until only blood and bone remained. The shift from big-screen brawls to DTV gore made the world feel smaller, stranger, and glimpsed through a broken mirror. 3. Each sequel got nastier, like the franchise dared fans to keep watching. Every new installment pushed the boundaries of bizarre. Universal Soldier, Day of Reckoning, trades blockbuster chaos for brutal psychological horror, making the film feel more like a waking nightmare than sci-fi action. The series morphed from muscle flexing to unsettling body horror, tracking Van Damme and Lundgren down ever stranger paths. It's as if the franchise dared fans. You thought we were violent? Watch this. Each sequel amplifies darker themes: betrayal, obsession, identity collapse. The world didn't just get bigger, it got twisted, and the audience kept returning. What that says about cult loyalty is wild. 2. Day of Reckoning plays like a fever dream snuff film, not a sequel. Once the films reached Day of Reckoning, the tone shifted drastically. Unrecognizable, surreal, fluid. It's less about reanimated soldiers and more a fever dream where reality breaks, violence is moral collapse, and Van Damme's character questions his own flesh. Critics call it a snuff film for tone, hypnotic, brutal, disorienting. The camera lingers in ways that unsettle rather than entertain. If the original was muscle and mission, this one is horror you can't blink through. Watching it feels like being trapped in a nightmare someone shouldn't have filmed, but you can't look away. 1. The Unisol Army Dead Vietnam soldiers reanimated for profit and blood. At the heart of it all, the Unisol program. It's not sci-fi cyborg magic. It's the resurrection of dead Vietnam soldiers, reanimated with tech and remade into obedient war machines. Luke Devereaux and Andrew Scott are corpses brought back to life, wiped clean of humanity. That means the real horror isn't alien kingdoms or robots. It's military control, playing God with flesh and memories. They're not heroes. They're billion-dollar experiments. That chilling truth anchors every high-speed chase and bullet to the face. It's dead men walking, animated by ambition. That was just the start. Every movie hides secrets stranger than fiction. If you love these shocking Universal Soldier facts, dive into our next breakdown on Screen Legends and Cursed Productions. Hit subscribe and keep watching. The next story starts right here.